Yo, guys, what's going on? We're back for another Straight Up MUFC. Myself, AdamMcKola, and of course, Straight Up D. What is going on, D?
Not much, man. This quarantine settings again, innit? Chilling in the house.
You broke the internet last week when you said Bruno wouldn't get into the team. What are we going to do this week? Which would be good. I probably need to clarify that bit. You didn't say Bruno wouldn't get into the team. You said Pogba and Bruno.
I just in the midfield three, I would pick, like I say, Fred, McTominay, Pogba, and then I think Fernandes has to be moved. Like I say, James's place, and that's what I would do. Like I say, I'm pro Evo. That's the squad I play with. So I don't want to test it.
Bring Bruno into the hole, maybe could play a diamond.
I was looking into change. I just don't think I've seen a couple of people on Twitter since then, and it's like I just don't see a midfield that could work with Pogba and Fernandes, just as them as the main cogs in the midfield. I just don't. They're both too creative. I think they need someone else who's able to do more of the job.
They definitely need to play in a free. I agree with that.
Yeah, 100%.
And I can see how you could play a diamond with the three you mentioned, and Bruno coming in for James, in behind Rashford and Marshall. So good to get some clarification on that. But that's not what we're talking about today here on Straight Up. Remember, you can subscribe to Straight Up. The link is in the description below. And the questions for today's Straight Up MUFC have come from the members that are in the members community and on the Discord forum. So thank you to those guys for getting them in. Let's start with a positive one to go with at the start. We're going to speak about Graeme Souness, Pogba and all that stuff at the end because we've got a question on that from Steve Fletcher. But Tom Hudson, he says, the atmosphere around the club feels different and we are going in the right direction. So his is a statement. But then P. Savage says, does it feel like we are building momentum without even playing? There's a real buzz around United that seems to get in more and more positives. What are your thoughts? How excited are you got to watch our first game after lockdown? Because it does feel very positive to be a Man United fan at the moment, even without playing. Our last two games were 5-0 and 2-0 wins over LASK Linz and Manchester City.
I don't know. Like, we was in good momentum at the time when this is all came to a halt. But I think, me personally, I think this is the break in players damaging us. Like I say, we had Spurs. We were supposed to have Spurs on the Sunday, and I think we'd have gone there and I don't know if we'd have battered them, but I think we'd have definitely won. I think, and I just think like now that they're like not just them, but obviously other teams, like they're able to get players back, like Spurs to potentially have Kane back, and then like I say, because if you haven't played in so long, you haven't even been training, like, and everyone's been chilling in their house.
Like when you're off school for so long and you can't write anymore, innit?
That's what I'm saying, and I don't know. I think it could be. I think literally anything. If the season restarts, I think anything could happen. I think like obviously, I don't think this would happen. But if the league were to restart, Liverpool potentially could lose every single game. You know, like because if this is FIFA, that chemistry thing, I think that's all. I think that all the chemistry is all gone because like I say, you haven't been playing like. Anyway, if like I don't know,
they haven't even been together either. Like they haven't been training, playing. Like it's very weird to go back into it. And like football's a form thing as well, isn't it? Form, confidence, look. But then could they be feeling like the fans where we're feeling kind of positive about everything at the moment? Because that could be a possibility too. That they're still feeling like, shouldn't have stopped the season. We're gonna push on and do this, that, and the other. Because it could be that as well. Like. We potentially could have lost that Spurs game, and if the season was halted there, we feel completely different. You're only as good as your last game, and we beat the Austrian champions. Are they Austrian champions? Or Red Bull Salzburg? I think they are.
Yeah, I agree with your point.
English champions.
Well, I don't know. I like I said, I think for United, obviously, I'm positive in terms of obviously. I think going back to his point, I think we are going in the right direction as a whole club and as a like in building forward for the future, but. Just for if we're looking at this season, like I don't know. This has never happened before, innit? So
do you think he's saved on his job in the long run for next season? Because he's almost guaranteed to be here for next season now, right?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't know if this is popular amongst fans, but I would keep him in there now. Like I said at the start, when Jose went, I did want Pochettino, but Ali's done well since. Like I say, you look at his signings, look at the direction we're trending in. You might as well give him a go. And like I say, the signs he's made have all been bang on, really. Look again, Fernandez is testament to that, and I think he's kind of earned us another year stay, in my opinion. Even though we ain't tore up trees, but I think we are trending in the right direction.
It'd be very harsh to sack him now, wouldn't it?
Even if it was a mutual consent, like because of, like even if they turn around and says, Carl, we'd agreed this behind closed doors. Why would we get in Pochettino now? I don't know, or anyone for that matter. Like I just don't see. I would keep Ali myself. Like I think he's done well. Like I said, I think the team. He has changed. I think a lot of the.
Does he have to be credited then with the fact that it looks like at the moment Paul Pogba is going to stay?
Hopefully, but again, I think that
talk is Grealish game.
Yeah, I think if
ain't coming, sorry.
Yeah, I think from what Pogba's been saying, I think if the club kind of if they're going in the right direction and he can see, I think he stays, and I think that's what he said. I just think if he's not going to challenge, then why is he going to stay? I mean, as a fan, I'd kind of question him myself, like why? Although you're a world class player, it burns me. Like Henderson could win the English league before Pogba. And even Pogba as a man, he would know. Like, no disrespect to Henderson, but the man's left foot's better than all of Henderson, and it's like he's winning the league, but he's potentially winning the league as we speak. And it's like Pogba needs to do that. He needs to cement his legacy. So, man, like Graeme Souness can just shut their mouth, innit?
Steve did ask about that as well. United has the biggest fan base in the world, he said. I wanted to come to it later, but you brought it up now. How do we show the real narrative around Pogba and that other bloke? Is it worth reporting all of Sky's videos to have them removed? Feels like the numbers we've got, whether you're Pogba, stay, leave, we should all be united in fuck that guy, Souness.
Yeah, 100%. They're not. None of them are stupid, innit? They all work in the media, and they know that. But like you say, Manchester United is the biggest club in the world. Pogba divides opinion amongst everybody, so they just he just goes for Pogba, and it's, like I say, I think it's your pal Sam Homewood. He did the podcast that's been blown up, and it's like I thought he even answered it with class. Like he didn't really throw dirt on his name, but I think I've heard yourself say it's like why would a man from France, what would he know about someone who's doing stuff in the 80s for Liverpool? Like like even now you've got people nowadays who live, like you probably got some Liverpool fans themselves who don't even know about what or how good a really player he was. Or it's funny because I seen Steve put up something on Twitter, and it's like it was showing some of the things that Graeme Souness did, and it's like just launching the ball to the keeper, and that, like it's like again the scrutiny wasn't the same back in the day as it is today, and it's like even that fair play, you've won things, but again I was looking at some of them clips, and I know that doesn't it's not gonna put all of his career into a little clip, but so a lot of these football players back then you could not hack it today. Like the game's a different game, man. Like technically you just couldn't hack it, man. Like,
and in the European Cup was different back then as well. They were playing against next
100%.
OPS and man like that, and yeah, it's different, but it's mental, and you kind of know how that conversation would have gone down. So Paul Pogba has respectfully kind of knocked back Graeme Souness, even if he said it disrespectfully. He's well within his rights to do that. Yeah. So he knocks that back, and then we look. Then we go to Sky Sports. Must have a little WhatsApp group now. Oh lads, have you seen this? Pogba spoken about Souness. We have to reply to this, and that's how it goes. And then I'm more disappointed in like I'm not disappointed in Souness. I'm disappointed in character. Like he says, Pogba is disrespectful. Yeah, disrespectful for not knowing who he is. Firstly, you won't know every player that played in the great Real Madrid teams. A kid from Bootle will not know the great players, every single one of them that play for the Real Madrid team. And if you do, fair play to you, you know what I mean? I'm born in England. I'm older than Paul Pogba. I've watched English football all of my life, if not most of my life. And I remember Graeme Souness as a football manager for Blackburn and man like that. So why Pogba wouldn't know him? Like, he wouldn't know about him.
100%. It's mad, yeah, because it's a different person, but I remember, and I like to be like seen as kind of like a football head or whatever. But I remember watching. I can't remember what Carlo Ancelotti team it was. He was in the Champions League, maybe an AC Milan, but I think it was after that. And he was talking about how he was one of the few managers who'd won it as a player and a coach. And I was thinking, this geezer used to play football. Like looking at him, looking at Carlo Ancelotti, and I'm thinking, raw. And then
I knew he played
Google
football.
search. I didn't know to the level he played at.
It may have been in like one of the Champions League finals when AC was Ancelotti the manager for that.
Yeah, for the AC man game.
When they won it at Old Trafford.
I believe so. Yeah. Against Juve.
And I remember that game, and they showed like a montage of his career, and like even then I was like, oh shit, he played for the great AC Milan team, didn't he?
Yeah. But that's what it's like. Again, I didn't know. You said you may have known, but I didn't. But again, am I expected to know? I wasn't around then. Like I wasn't watching football then. And like, I seen someone say again, harking back to Twitter, but it's like, you know, back in the day when we was all like kids and stuff, like when you're playing Wembley singles or doubles or whatever, like when you claim and play a name, like it's like, you know, I think it was him who said it. It's like no one ever said I want to be Graeme Souness. No one said that. Like even like you would, I just don't get it. But it's funny now how the mainstream media are now like how they're like, because there is no news, because nothing's happening. Like I say, they're feeding into everything else that's going on, really.
To be honest, they've been feeding into this even when there was football. They know the connotations around Souness and everything, and they still product that kind of thing just to go viral every now and then. You can see it there. I was more disappointed at like the fact that how can you be disappointed that Pogba don't know who Souness is, but you got Souness on national television accusing someone of faking injury.
Yeah,
he's not disrespectful. I'll say what I said in my video.
Carragher, he's a bit of a donut though as well. Like because as soon as he's sitting there saying, "Oh yeah, put your medals on the table," rare, starts laughing. Carragher starts laughing. I'm thinking, bro, if he's talking to you as well, bro, if you put your medals on the table, you know what I'm saying? What are you gonna laugh at, man? Man's won the World Cup. Was won World Cup. Serie A's.
Four Serie A's. Couple of, and I think let me just look for this. There was a graphic of when they were the same age. So when Pogba was this age and Souness was this age, what they had won, and what Pogba's here it is. So at the same age,
that's what I'm saying.
This is what we're talking about here, bro. So,
but even it's like I think Souness himself would know technically you can't talk to Pogba, mate. Like you can't. Like, you know, I don't think there's not many players who can. You know what I'm saying? Even like people who've gone more recent than him, they couldn't talk to Pogba. And why? What on earth makes him think that he can speak to Pogba? I don't know. But he's some of it's, I don't know. It's like that. I don't know. Like I say, because obviously he has won trophies with Liverpool. Like so, that's probably where his arrogance comes from. Like he just thinks, you know, I've been there, done it, got the T-shirt, all that nonsense. But
I don't know who he is.
I think he looked wounded when the man said he didn't know who he was. You get me? Wounded, man. Like, super wounded.
I hope Pogba was trolling. I hope he was.
Yeah, 100%.
But Pogba don't seem like the guy. He seems like a positive dude, you know what I mean? He's not going to come out like that. There's another comment here that I wants to go with. Newcastle takeover, another title rival for United. Have you seen this?
I've heard little whispers.
They got the Saudis, I think, that were interested in us are now interested in them.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, to be honest, I don't understand why. Like none of these foreign investors have bought Newcastle, because Newcastle are a big club, innit? And they got a big fan base or whatever. And it's like you could probably get them cheap. And like I say, like if you put dough behind them, obviously, if you can work around financial fair play and all that, you could turn them into you could turn them into challengers within 5 years or something. You know, like you've seen what's happened with Wolves, and it's like you imagine like they did that with Newcastle. And Newcastle, like I say, they're a big club, got a big fan base or whatever, and it's like I think it's a no-brainer. Like I mean, if you're them, if you was looking at United, the cost to buy United would be ridiculous.
10 times, isn't it? Billions. I think 300 mil for Newcastle. I think it's 3-4 billion for United. Is that 10 times?
Well, yeah. So, but even that, then it's like the value they're talking about United. I don't know if it would strictly go on what the stock market values it at, to be honest. Like, because I'm sure only a portion of the club's floated on there. And again, if you were selling it, it's like anything. If you're selling a big brand name, you're gonna want probably over the value. But obviously, comparing the two brands are ridiculous. United and Newcastle United. But again, like I said, to me,
we could have another challenger then in a few years if that happens.
Potentially, innit? Like, if they took off by billionaires, why wouldn't they be? Like, especially with the money that they've got and that, like, it's like I say, it's like me playing Football Manager with all the money on there. Like, you'd have to challenge, like, at some point. Like,
what was that cheat code again? Loads of dash.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what you'd have to be challenging. Like,
I need that cheat code in real life, bro.
Trust me. You and me both.
Imagine you could do that. Loads of dash cheat code.
I'm sure the Bank of England does that anyway. They just print money for fun anyway. Like, they just print money and it's not backed by anything. But that's a whole nother subject. I don't want to get the channel closed down. You get me?
Get everything demonetized. Oh shit. When do you see the league restart in June, Dean? We hear about what you said today about how you can't see it kicking off again at the beginning of June. What do you think is going on?
I don't know. Like, it's mad because I hear a lot of things from around the world. Like, I think I heard yesterday that I think not Italy, New York and California in America are not having no sporting events and no music events until 2021, and then, you know, you hear other things where different, like, you know, I think it's the Spanish league are talking about potentially if the league don't resume soon, that they'll literally use the standings as it is like that'll be their Champions League positions, and it's like, I don't know. I was saying to my pal yesterday, like,
that's happened in Scotland, I think, in the lower divisions.
That's what I'm saying.
You still there?
Yeah, I'm here still. Like, but I don't know. Like, me personally, I was saying to my friend, like, I just don't see how like, we go from this complete lockdown, obviously gonna ease it back in, and then they're gonna just say, yeah, 75,000 people can go to Old Trafford. Like, it's not happening. Do you know it's not gonna happen? And it's like, I joked on Twitter saying that Dana White should run the Premier League, because if he was running it, like, he'd find a way to resume it, probably behind closed doors or whatever.
Well, he tried it with the UFC, didn't he? And he got...
Yeah, but their governor stepped in and all this madness. But WWE is still going on, but they've stopped theirs. But Dana White's already suggested that they'll be the first sport back on. And again, he's adamant that will happen. I just don't see the same appetite from the Premier League to, like, you know, like, say, like, yeah, what we've done is we've rented all these we've rented 10 pitches in this area. We've got these hotels. What we're gonna do is, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't see where I don't know they're gonna take everyone and put them in one.
It's a lot more difficult though than the UFC, where you've got a stable of athletes or fighters that are. It's easier to control them, and particularly with WWE, because especially, like, they're all based in that performance center and it's already been set up and things like that. It's a lot harder with 20 different clubs with medical staffs and TV crews and this, that, and the other. Completely different ball game. I don't know how you do it.
But like I said, at the moment there is no contingency plan for, like, it's just like, you know, like, we play games at whoever's home ground, and then until that can happen, nothing's gonna happen. And it's like, at the moment, I can't see that happening. So, like, to me, I'm not confident, to tell you the truth. The longer it goes, like I say, people are out of touch. Like I say, you could have a team at bottom of the league just win 10 on the spin or something, because, you know, like, they're not, I don't know, like, it's just like, I don't know, it's gonna be like Power League or something. Like, it's just gonna be mad. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even think the players themselves, and I'm thinking, bro, like, what are you, man, thinking? Innit?
They could actually do that, you know, the Power League tournaments where everything just gets settled on the day.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be
like. Probably be easy to televise. You can get Big G down there, SE Duns. It'd just be a madness. Well, have you noticed how all these TV people have turned into us, like doing YouTube?
Yeah. That's what I was that's what I'm saying. It's like, now the mainstream media are just feeding us social media and stuff. Like, they're trying to do the same thing, but then, people have their different opinions. But some of these people don't have the. I'm not saying I got all this charisma, but some of these people, they ain't got the charisma to do this, and to just, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why they're doing these little tactics with Souness, and like,
yeah, the Souness is dead out. Literally still in a job because he trends about Pogba. I reckon if he didn't trend about Pogba, and that's why it's important that you kind of stop feeding into this as well. Like, even us talking about it now, me doing a video about it, Steve doing a video about it, all of us tweeting about it. It's kind of like it becomes what the media company wants. They want their person to go viral. They want their videos to get more hits and things like that. So it's like it's like with the Piers Morgan and the Katie Hopkins generation, you feed into what they want just by mentioning them, just by talking about them. Yeah, I try. I always try. I hate that. I'm usually good at not saying anything, and then one day I'll just crack and call everyone a cunt. Start hating. Oh God. But yeah, the question earlier about feeling positive, it is feeling real positive at the moment, isn't it? Even like with the talk of transfer business, Oli saying he's looking to bully man in the market, like the talk about Sancho, Grealish potentially not happening, but Pogba could be like it's a real feel-good factor at the minute, isn't it?
Yeah, but again, it's all based around gossip and that, innit? So it's like, I don't know. I just don't feel in as much. I think again going forward, I think it will be positive, but I don't know. Like I say, like, you're telling me that You're telling me that what's happening now is not going to have an effect on the future. Like for example, like if they don't resume the rest of the league, they're talking they're gonna have to refund people's tickets and stuff. It's gonna cost the clubs money and money that like I say, if I don't know, if you're renting a yard or someone and like you said, they give you 12 months and then at the end, but they give you the money at the start and then at the end, you've actually got to come out 3 months early. You ain't got the dough because you've probably spent it already, or in my head, I've spent it, and the clubs are going to have done them sort of things.
But then that's where the appetite to get it behind closed doors comes from, because they don't have to give any money back to the TV money, and they can just use that to offset the tickets that they've lost out on. Because for United, for example, the tickets is a very small percentage of their revenue.
But it's still money. It's still money that they're not going to want to happily give back to people. Or
do you think if the Premier League gets the go-ahead behind closed doors, actually it becomes more of a valuable product because nothing else is going on?
Nah, it's funny. I was listening to, I think it's Poet and Vuj yesterday. Like, there's a big show yesterday still. But like Vuj was saying how like he thinks it ruins the product, and I'm in total agreement with that. I think when we played last in the Europa League, there was no one there, but because it was a Europa League and because it's on a Thursday, like because it
was in Austria.
That's what I'm saying. Like no one really, there was no atmosphere or nothing. Because I remember watching it, and because there was no crowd noise or nothing. Sometimes I just drifted onto my phone or something like that, and I'm like, I'm watching the game, but it's not, it just doesn't draw man in as much. And I think if you take the fans away, I think it kills. I just think there's no atmosphere. It looks like back in the day when I used to watch games on Eurosport. Like them youth cup games and stuff, and I think it just
kill it. Tune into like a 23s game or it would feel like. And when it was in LASK in Austria, like sometimes we go to foreign countries and we have to play behind closed doors anyway, so it wasn't like that unusual of a scenario because it felt like it wasn't happening here. But as soon as if you were to play at Old Trafford behind closed doors, do you know how weird that would be?
Yeah, 100%. But even there's so many results that have happened over the years. I can only talk about United, but it's like some of the greatest comebacks that we've ever done. I'm telling you now, if the fans ain't there, it don't happen. Like certain momentum swings in games are purely reliant upon fans and fans' reaction, and because I'm not gonna say the fans are the 12th man, but it's like if there's no, you need the opposition fans also. It's like you imagine playing games where just the home fans are there and there's no away fans. Like the away team ain't gonna get up as much. But it's like again, like if a game can change, like I say, literally on when a goal scored based on the fans' reaction or something. We've seen it even more so this season, where when, for example, when we played Arsenal, and then they scored, but then I was thinking, bro, the man just flagged offside, and then so we're all cheering because it's offside. 2 minutes, well, it was about 5 minutes later because it took so long, but VAR came in. And the next thing you know, the Arsenal fans are screaming. They've got the momentum now. They've equalised. And now the momentum's fully with them because they're laughing at us because we've just been cheering, thinking that, you've just had a goal ruled out and then no. But the whole
the fans are involved every step of the way and the emotions of it.
It changes the momentum of the game. Do
you think it almost comes down to the talent of the players then, and almost the best team will always, more often than not, win? Because you'd see, like, especially like when United go away, it'll be the fans that put United under the cosh more than the opposition team.
That's right. Well, there is no home or away.
See, like, it all coming down to like actually how good the players are rather than anything else coming into this. Some players might not be as good in front of fans as they are.
Exactly.
Training ground ballers. Like,
100%,
there might be a couple that
bro,
start.
give me a contract to get me, like, yo, give me a contract and I'll decent in training still. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, even that, you've got to think, and you're telling me there's not going to be teams low at either end of the, probably not at the top end, but it's like, if you're at the bottom of the table, for example, if you've, I don't know, say if you played Liverpool City away or something like that, and then you've the return fixture is at home, you have no advantage playing that return fixture. Say if that's one of the games remaining, there is no advantage to you having that game. So it's like, or you could you could argue with other teams like, if this game was in front of fans, it'd be a different game because there's fans there.
Yeah,
but there's no actual advantage. Like
that messes up the season as well, because then you'll have, like, I don't know, in the relegation battle, for example, Aston Villa would have played maybe less games at home than Norwich, or Norwich would have. So then it's like, all right, how can you make us finish here when we've got a game in hand, we played less? Because, yeah, like, you can bring all sorts of arguments into it. Even Liverpool, for example, like, they like the Champions League and stuff, you know, like, they say, oh, the fans are so important to them. Imagine having the Champions League behind closed doors. I know they're not in it no more. Or even, like, there was a certain case where the Liverpool game could have been behind closed doors, but the Atletico Madrid game would have been in front of fans. Like, that's fucked. That's all sorts of fucked. You can't do that. Yo, I got offended by a tweet earlier, which is usually that it's not offended like that, but I think Kieran tweeted a poll, which was Nani or Marshall. Yeah. Now, it got me pissed off because I remember I was sitting there thinking, first of all, Kieran used to cuss the fuck out of Nani, yeah. And secondly, like, Marshall's got more goals than Nani scored for United in I think probably less games playing for a worse team. And it just got me thinking. It got me thinking though on this thing, like, can you like Rashford and Marshall for a Fergie team, like back then 08? You got to think how good that team was. Yeah. Do you think Nani is better than Marshall?
Nani's technically he was tied.
He was very good.
I thought he was tied than Ronaldo. I'll tell you the truth on that. Like, but he's a weird one, Nani, because I thought he should have been a lot better than. Not that he was good for us, but I just expected a lot more. Like, I expected more where Ronaldo was going. Like, but it never materialized. But I'm a big fan of Marshall. I think his ceiling's high. I think it's higher than Nani's, and I think
he's got better natural ability than Nani. I think we'll remember Nani because of, you know, the great goals he scored, the trophies that he won, the great team that he was in. And I think if you add like a Rashford and a Marshall to those teams, I think they achieve what he did or more, personally. That's not to say I don't rate Nani, because he's one of my favourite wingers to have played for United. And he was so frustrating at times because of how good he was on his day. And like in some of those big games, this 07-08 season, we stuttered at the start of the campaign. I think we lost the opening fixture. We drew a couple, and then Nani like scored a banger against Spurs, won 1-0, and we just didn't look back from there. So big boy player, but I just thought, like, it just got me thinking Marshall and Rashford for a Fergie team.
More so, I'd probably take. I think I'd probably take Marshall in that. You know, like, I don't know, like Rashford, he's tied in that, but I don't know. Like, Nani was good in it. Like, so it's just a tough one still, but they all could have worked, to be honest.
I put both Rashford and Marshall ahead of Nani personally, and I'm a big fan of Nani. Not for what they've achieved, but for how good they are as footballers. Yeah, you know, Nani was part of a team that won the double. So until Rashford and Marshall even achieve something on a longer term basis, like, can you imagine Nani in this team, bro? People would be losing their head.
Yeah, to be fair, though, 100%. Obviously, like, again, like, Nani wasn't the focal point of the team, and it's whereas like Martial and Rashford are the focal point of the team. I think if they probably had better players around them, then you're probably right.
That's what I mean. Like, you bring Rashford and Martial into that team where they're coming off the bench or they're playing with Ronaldo and Rooney and it's different ball games. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Yeah, good chat today. Anything else you want to chat about? Anything pissed you off?
I want to know your opinion on it, because I'm probably gonna have a different opinion to you on it, or to a lot of people, I reckon. But I keep seeing this the uproar about the players getting wage cuts and wage deferrals. Like, people's opinion, because it's
I
like,
don't think players should have wage cuts. You shouldn't have wage cut.
You don't think? It's what I don't think that this isn't me feeding into the whatever the politician was saying. Oh, they should have a pay cut. Not because of that. There's nothing to do with that. What I reckon they potentially should have Well, again, I don't know the full business model of these clubs, but maybe not so much in the Premiership, but definitely in lower leagues. These clubs are going to incorporate. They're going to start to get some cash flow problems. And it's like, for example, I know with like the Premiership, I'm sure there's probably like stages of when the money's paid to them after X amount of games, and it's like I say, if they don't get the money to the end of the season, obviously they're gonna. Obviously, you've signed a contract, so obviously you're due that money. But in reality, like potentially taking that money could harm certain clubs, I believe.
My answer came
like I say, the cash flow.
Man United fan, yeah, because I think ultimately Manchester United players, Spurs players, Arsenal players taking pay cuts doesn't benefit anybody but the billionaire owners. Let's be real, right? That doesn't benefit anybody but them. Like, and I actually think there's more benefit in when players receive their wages, because a lot of footballers do things for charity. So if they're going to be doing things themselves, that money is not going to an owner. It's going to charities, or it's being paid through taxes, hopefully, into whatever area. So you've got that. But I agree with you in the sense that it comes to a point at a certain level that a footballer almost has to make a decision to protect their occupation.
That's more so where I'm going with it.
Because you have to protect the sport and you have to protect the occupation, and you have to have a job to come back to. So you can now say, "Nah, boss, you owe me £5 a week. You have to pay me that, or fuck it, I'm taking you to court." All right, cool, you do that, but then you're not going to have a club to come back to, because if everybody does that, football's fucked. Do you know what I mean?
Like, you think about it now, like this is the thing. The only reason why I say is because, again, when I was watching Paul and Vuj, they were saying, "Oh yeah, I ain't got Sky and BT anyway," but like, not anymore. But like, they were saying, like, everyone go cancel your Sky, go cancel your BT. Like these companies, obviously there is going to be there's gonna be a trend of people doing that, and it's like, bro, Sky are gonna start to feel it. The clubs are feeling it because there's no. Like I said, you know what I'm saying? So we say someone's got there's got to be some kind of give somewhere, or like I say, if someone's just taking the full dough, it's gonna be like, well, bro, we're running out of cash here. Like, not so much. I know these clubs have that, like, they have assets and they got stadiums and stuff, but I don't think cash flow. I think some of these clubs, depending on that, like I say, if we don't play for the rest of 2020, clubs are gonna start going into some cash flow problems.
And you've got to look at some clubs that the lower you go down the pyramid, that they don't get on telly a lot, apart from probably FA Cup game here and there, and therefore they rely on that match day income. They rely on that, I don't know, 10 grand a match, or however much money they earn a match. They rely on that to pay for their wages, to pay for their staff. You got to look at the knock-on effect those smaller clubs will have, and even bigger clubs, I suppose, like Manchester United, on the surrounding areas. So like when we're filming, how many people do we see that have set up stores and shops? And those are all small local businesses that will be impacted by it. So the lower you go down the table, like if you look at Bury, when Bury went out of business, how many people were fucked then? That'll be happening all over the place. So I agree with you to a certain extent, but I don't think if you have a billionaire owner, you shouldn't be taking the pay.
100%. They should be looking at the clubs first. But again, I'm just saying, like, for me, like I say, like, you can't be too naive and think that, like I say, the clubs, the business that the clubs are doing also is being affected. Like, and like I say, on a big scale, like I say, the majority of the money comes from TV. If the season don't resume, it's a big chunk of money that all these clubs are going to miss, and they've already kind of spent the dough in their head. And it's a difficult one because, like I said, I'm for the people. Like, I'm a former trade unionist, so I'm for the people. Like, I wouldn't say, like I said, when the politicians coming out and say they need to take a pay cut because they earn so much, it's nonsense. Like, because again,
especially they're an easy target because they are a small percentage of the highest earners. So like they are an easy target because almost everybody in England supports a football team and knows footballers. Like they have some sort of, they can visibly point them out, so they're an easy target. And then there's a lot of billionaires and millionaires and people that are richer than them that you don't know about. Why aren't you talking about them? There's a lot of politicians that are millionaires themselves. Why aren't you talking about them? Matt Hancock was asked this week, why don't you take a pay cut? And he was like, well, I'm doing extra work.
That's what I'm saying. To me, the only reason I do it is obviously, football's a working class sport, isn't it? And obviously, most of these kids, most of these footballers are working class men. or
and women
that
probably that come from there, and like they have, as soon as they become footballers, yo man, you know, you don't have to work no more.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a lot of that as well. So yeah, I don't look so down on football. Not that they need sympathy, because obviously they're well looked after people, but I don't look at them like, give their money to something like fucking. I don't like to watch people's pocket like that.
Trust. I'm not saying, to be honest, but like I said, they should. It's like you said, people. There's a lot more people who have more money, but people just don't know them. Like, people could point out majority of people in the Premiership, but couldn't pick out Jeff Bezos in a line of people, whereas he's got more wealth than everybody, combined. But Amazon are still functioning as well, them ones, and it's like they're not going to. Again, this will go left and that, but Amazon don't even pay no tax. You know what I'm saying? Like, they operate. It's all mad and that.
It's mad. But you're right. You're right. Anyway, thanks for tuning in to Straight Up MUFC. It's been another one with lockdown. Normally Dean sat here with me. God knows when we'll get to do that again. But make sure you're keeping it liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing. You want to do one for Straight Up next week? There's loads that we can talk about. Let's do one next week for Straight Up early in the week. So we could do Straight Up MUFC at the end of the week and a podcast for Straight Up at the beginning of the week. If we do that, subscribe Straight Up. We're nearly on 500 subscribers, which is a decent target considering we've only made a few videos. So subscribe, help us hit 500, then we'll get to a K. Subscribe to AdamMcKola TV, very close to 70K. Join as well if you can. Follow Dean on Straight Up D. And you can also follow Straight Up _YT as well on Twitter. Anything you want to add, Dean? What are you drinking there? Ribena.
Strawberry Ribena,
no. I haven't had a strawberry Ribena in years, bro.
Not all that, to tell you the truth, and it's just in the fridge, and that. But
sugar tax killed a lot of good things, man.
Trust me.
Like Ribena.
Trust.
The cordial's still good.
Not so mad. It's a bit pricey, but yeah, man. But now, just support the thing, innit? Obviously, get man on 70K, innit? We need that 70K, innit? No,
we need 100K. We want a plaque.
Trust.
We want a plaque. Get us that plaque. And we're gonna keep this shit rolling. And when the football comes back, boy, it is. Now we've got some organisation and some schedule and some structure going to this channel. It's going to be amazing. So thank you for watching. Make sure you follow Dean and check out Straight Up on YouTube. Any final words, Dean?
No, man, just chin up everyone, and it just, you know what I'm saying? It's not all doom and gloom, innit? Like, listening to the news yesterday is doom and gloom, so cheer up, innit? Like,
cheer up, you bastards.
For us.